Hi, folks. I'm Jamie Hiles.
I'm Lydia Judy.
And I'm blowing loads.
I don't think we can use that intro.
Should try it again.
Nobody would understand that and they'd be disturbed.
I knew that was gonna happen. I knew it.
All right, let's try it again. In 5, 4, 3, 2. Hi, folks. I'm Jamie Hiles.
I'm Lydia Judy.
And I'm Derek Master.
Screen Buddy Movies. Try it one more time. You went just the extreme opposite. It made me laugh. You went blowing loads to I'm Derek Master. Fucking turned into Eeyore. Right, you ready? 5, 4, 3. Hi, folks. I'm Jamie Hiles.
I'm Lydia Judy.
I'm Derek Master.
This is Screen Bloody Movies, the podcast where we review a horror movie each week. We go over the horror news. And guys, today is a good day because we are finishing out Sam Raimi's classic trilogy with Army of Darkness. And we've got a lot to discuss. I cannot wait to get into it. It's going to be a blast. How are you guys doing tonight?
Doing good.
I'm okay. Doing better.
It's good. You still under the weather? Yeah.
A little bit. Oh, I didn't get it?
You did not mute any of that.
I hovered above it, apparently. I didn't mean to. I thought I got it. That's why
He was just like...
Yeah, it made it seem really fake because you just asked him how he was feeling.
Yeah, it was. It was pretty epic. But guys, glad you guys are feeling, at least I'm glad you're feeling well, Lydia. Present company excluded. We've got a lot to talk about tonight for Evil Dead 2, or Army of Darkness. See, we almost did Evil Dead 2 for a third time, but we decided twice is enough to cover Evil Dead 2. We might go back to Evil Dead 1 here soon. But guys, we got a lot to talk about with this. But first, let's hit up a little bit of horror news. And we don't have a whole lot, but what we have is semi-interesting.
Okay.
Let's start with this because it's apropos of tonight's film. Check out this cool new Army of Darkness lunchbox.
Oh,
that's so cool.
Isn't that amazing?
dude. You'd be the coolest kid in class if you had that.
Yeah, I'd be the coolest guy at my job when I have this. This is due out in May.
I'd probably get a call from my son's school if I sent him to school with that.
Maybe. It's due out in May, and it's $24.99. This might have to be something that is in my life, though. Look at that.
That's epic, man.
Yeah, it's great. Great.
Yep. I really like that a lot.
Yeah, it's beautiful, right? Did you guys ever have lunch boxes as kids?
Yeah, that just hit me with some nostalgia seeing that like little thermos, and I was like, what was my lunch? I must have had one, but I don't really remember.
I had a Batman one.
Mm-hmm.
I
Oh,
think I had a Ghostbusters one too.
I had a Spice Girls one.
Oh, nice.
That's what it was for sure. Yeah, it was Spice Girls.
Over there, I have a Star Wars one still. But it's like a newer one, vintage looking, but newer one. But I remember when I was a kid, I had Batman Return. It was a Batman Returns lunchbox, and then like the thermos was just was just the white bat signal. That was pretty cool. And then, like I said, I think I also had a Ghostbusters one at one point. Those lunchboxes were legit. Now I have a boring adult gray one. Thumbs down.
Whatever.
I mean, it keeps my food cool, but whatever.
When I worked, before I got my current job, I worked at a call center, and I had a Batman and a Superman one. I would take to work with me.
Excellent. Yeah, can't go wrong with that. So yeah, that comes out in May. $25. Going to be $25 well spent. This is interesting. Amanda Seyfried has just teased a sequel to Jennifer's Body.
That's insane. I saw that and I was like, there's no way.
Yeah, I mean that movie came out in 2009, and I mean I know like it's like it has like a cult following, but I mean, okay, like an almost 20-year sequel for
I
that.
own that movie.
Interesting. Well, I know why you own that movie.
Not a bad movie, but I mean, she would. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, she said, I think we're making another one. I didn't confirm it. I said, I think. And she winked and said, we're working on it. Diablo Cody last year says she wants to make a sequel. So, who knows?
Yeah, I can't
What do you guys
imagine.
think of Jennifer's Body?
I really enjoy Jennifer's Body, but I cannot imagine what
A
another
sequel to
one
it?
would look like.
Yeah. I liked, I also enjoyed Jennifer's Body. It's fun. It's a fun one. You're muted, by the way. What'd you say?
I can't say what I was going to say because it doesn't make any sense. Continue.
I wish I enjoyed Jennifer's Body. Is that what you're going to say?
No.
Missed a good joke then. Lydia, this is for you. Catherine Newton has joined Radio Silence for Ready or Not 2, which is, of course, starring the great Samara Weaving.
Nice.
You know her from Catherine Newton from Freaky and Lisa Frankenstein, Paranormal Activity 4, and Supernatural.
Okay. Yeah.
I'll show you a picture of her if you.
I guess I never realized that was her name.
Yep, her.
Yeah, she's great.
Yeah, she's great. I do too. So she's going to be joining this in the sequel. We don't have a plot synopsis for it or anything yet, but I really dug Ready or Not. So
yeah,
I'm down. You haven't seen it yet, have you, Derek?
I don't think so. She was also in Ant-Man, right? The latest Ant-Man?
I don't know. I have not seen the latest Ant-Man. Quantum Mania? Have not seen it.
Yeah.
I didn't hear great things.
That was okay.
And then finally, this is the last bit of horror news. We didn't have a lot of horror news this week. I mean, we actually have a big piece of horror news that I was kind of holding off on. But I guess because there's no way you guys haven't been spoiled in certain aspects of the new Scream movies, right? So I guess I can kind of. It's not really a spoiler. You'll see it in the news anyway. But David Arquette is returning to Scream 7. 7, right? Yeah, Scream 7.
Oh man.
So he's coming back as well.
He's not gonna make it.
So everybody's returning to this one. So is this the last Scream movie? Because everybody and their brother is returning. Right.
Yeah, that's bad news for our characters.
Yeah, even dead people are returning, like Stu Macher and Roman Bridger and Billy Loomis is probably going to be in the damn thing, I'm imagining. So who knows?
Maybe it's filmed in hell.
Yeah, it's Scream in hell.
Just saying.
Might as well. And then finally, this little last bit of horror news isn't quite new news, but what it is exciting news that for the 50th anniversary of one of the greatest films ever made, it is returning to cinemas, and that film is Jaws. Returning to cinema for its 50th anniversary. Guys, if Jaws is playing around here, we have got to see it, right?
Yes.
I mean, can you imagine seeing that in theaters with that new 4K print? Oh my God. Like, we've got to see it.
What's Jaws?
What's Jaws, he says.
Like he didn't give that motherfucker a 10 already. Yeah, you know how we feel about Jaws here at Scream Bloody Movies. We think it's one of the greatest films ever made, right, guys?
Truly is.
So Here's something that would be cool. A special Jaws in the Water screening will take place on June 21st as part of the Alamo Draft House Rollings Roadshow. Can
There's
you
no
imagine?
way. There's no way I would be able to do
water?
that. No. It makes me panic just thinking about it. Like I was like genuinely scared of the water after watching Jaws.
You and like half the planet.
Yeah.
For real.
That's wild. I couldn't even imagine. I just couldn't imagine watching a movie in the water because I think it'd annoy me because I'd get cold. It's like I want to watch a movie. But maybe if you're just on a boat or something, that'd be cool.
On a hot summer day, like if you're in a tube or something, I could see the appeal of it, but I'm not a water person anyways. Like I don't want any fish touching me. If I can't touch the bottom, I'm gonna have a problem. Like,
you're not
gonna be a full panic attack.
You're not a big fan of the lake.
No, I'm not.
Remind me, and I have a story.
Oh, good. Derek's story time's coming back. All right, we'll remind you. In the meantime, that wraps up the horror news. So, guys, picture it. Evil Dead 2, 1987. Well, let's go back even further. Sam Raimi's Evil Dead releases, and it's a moderate success. And so the guys decide to make another movie. And the movie they decide to make is a little film called that you've probably never ever seen, called Crime Wave. It's a little crime comedy. So Sam Raimi's second feature is a movie called Crime Wave with Bruce Campbell in it. Unfortunately, they didn't give him the studio wouldn't let him be the lead, so he's a side character. But Crime Wave turns out disastrous for Sam and company. It was like bad news. He didn't like the way it turned out, so they licked their wounds by getting a sequel to Evil Dead made. Stephen King helped them get in touch with investors, and boom, Evil Dead 2 was made, another hit. And, we left Ash precariously in the past, medieval times. So, fast forward a few years, Sam Raimi is now a big budget film director because he makes a movie called Darkman with Liam Neeson. So, when it comes time to make the third Evil Dead movie, Sam Raimi, who had just made Darkman for Universal, approaches them to do the movie. And they're like, you know what? Sure, let's do it. And give Sam Raimi a budget of $11 million to make an Evil Dead sequel. So they had this idea. They knew it was going to take place in the past. They knew it was going to be this medieval adventure, Jason the Argonaut style movie. But they wouldn't let him they wouldn't let him name it the two things he wanted to name it. The script draft is called The Medieval Dead, which is fucking hilarious and should have 100% been the name of this movie.
Oh my gosh.
And then so they settled on Army of Darkness. So Sam Raimi sneaks it into the title. The official title is Army of Darkness, but he wanted to call the movie Bruce Campbell versus the Army of Darkness, which is what the titles say. Bruce Campbell versus Army of Darkness.
Yep.
So picture it. It's 1992, right? And you hear that a new Evil Dead movie's on the rise, and then you get this fucking masterpiece of gonzo cinema. This isn't any of our first times watching this, but do you guys remember the first time you did watch this movie?
I don't think I have a specific, I just remember, I don't know. Yeah, I don't even remember seeing this for the first time. It's so weird.
I, guys, remember this vividly the first time I saw this movie because it was a religious experience for me.
Yeah.
This is the first of the 3 Evil Dead movies I saw. I saw snippets of Evil Dead 2 as a kid, and I saw snippets of Evil Dead when adults were watching them, but I didn't sit down and watch any of them. Evil Dead, or Army of Darkness, I found late one night. I turned off the PlayStation. I was playing some terrible Dracula game, I think. It was like a point-and-click bullshit. I hated it. It was for the PlayStation. Thought it was going to be spooky and scary. Turned it off, started flipping through the cable, and on Sci-Fi Channel, of all places, Sci-Fi Channel, Army of Darkness was on, and I caught it like I'm wanting to say about the point where he is going to the windmill. So a little bit before the windmill, I caught this thing and watched it, and I was like, "What the fuck is this thing? What is this movie?" And I was instantly like raptured. And it ended, and I remember being like, that might have been the greatest movie I've ever seen in my life. Like, this movie's what is this thing? This movie is so funny. It's so crazy. What is this? So then I had this gaming magazine, open up the gaming magazine, and guess what? Inside the gaming magazine, they were advertising the new Evil Dead game that's going to be coming out. It was like a whole article on it. And I was like, wait, this is the movie I watched. There are 2 more of these fucking things? And then my obsession with Evil Dead started. After I watched this movie, I went and watched my uncle had Evil Dead 2. Immediately went and watched it. Was like, never mind, as great as Army of Darkness is, this is the greatest movie ever made. And then I remembered Evil Dead 1 being scary. I rented it from the video store and was like, okay, this movie is great. This is the greatest trilogy of films ever made. And it just, from that was the point that I became a Sam Raimi acolyte. I became a Bruce Campbell acolyte. I became a fan of these films. And then later that year, it was announced that Sam Raimi was directing Spider-Man. And I was like, I'm living the best life. My new guy, the guy I just discovered. Because I read about the Evil Dead. We had this VHS, it was a book of VHS tapes, and they were reviews. And I would go through and just read them, and it'd just have the title, little blurb about it, and how many stars. And I remember going through the horror section and seeing Evil Dead and Army of Darkness, and I was like, they were talking about Bruce Campbell, and I was like, what are these movies? These sound interesting. And then when I watched them, I was like, oh. So
Yeah.
Army of Darkness is a very important movie for me because it was my gateway into the Evil Dead world and into like that splat stick, genre, which basically kind of influenced the films that I write and make and, and what I consume. My sensibility was this one. So the big one. Now your guys' origin story with this doesn't have to be that grand.
Yeah, well,
mine's. Oh, go ahead, Lydia.
Oh, I was just gonna say, like that's interesting that this is your first one that you watched, and it was like a whole experience. And mine was the first one where I was like just completely scared out of my mind. I'll never forget watching it,
Yeah.
And I can't remember the first time I saw the second two. It was just like the first one though. I'm like, I remember exactly where I was when I saw that.
That's great. What
but
were you
I
gonna say,
watched them
Derek?
in order.
Yeah, I watched them backwards order. 3, 2, 1.
So I have seen these movies in this order. The second one first, the third one second, and the first one last. And I bet you, so there will never be another time like the early 90s. Because I remember going to the video store on a Friday night after school and renting 2 or 3 movies that you got to watch over the weekend. And you got to like get pizza and pop or soda, depending on where you live in the country. And you would go home and you would stay up really late and then you would watch them on Saturday. So, man, I might cry. I'm not going to lie. So anyway, I remember this was one of those movies, and mainly because of the cover art, man. The cover art of this of the fucking VHS of this movie is like so heroic and spectacular, and you're like, the cover got me, and then you watch the movie and you're like, what in the absolute heck is this thing? Because it's not just horror. Like this was the first like super slapstick horror movie I think I've seen.
Yeah, it's a genre blend. It's a Jason and the Argonauts adventure film. It's the some of the splat stick from Evil Dead 2. Very little Evil Dead 1 in the DNA of this one. It's mostly action, goofy comedy, and adventure, with some horror elements sprinkled in. There's a couple of scenes in here that are pretty frightfully spooky if you're in the right age bracket, or if you're my wife. But yeah, it's just nothing like it. So let's get into this, because Evil Dead Army of Darkness has one of my all-time favorite openings of any movie, because you like to start at the beginning, Derek. I'll never forget the first time I watched this movie from the beginning all the way through, and I remember buying the Book of the Dead DVDs and buying them on DVD multiple times. But I remember just sitting there watching it, and with we open on his feet in the sand and everything. It's like, my name is Ash and I am a slave, and his voiceover starts. Then we get the recap, and it's amazing, right?
Yes. It's so good. It's so cool. They reshot some of it too, didn't they?
Yes, they reshot it with Bridget Fonda as Linda. So we have our third Linda in 3 films. So we have a new Linda here for just those scenes, and they reshot some stuff, reused some footage from Evil Dead 2, of course. But man, what makes it is him getting sucked into the portal, and then we get the opening titles with that excellent Danny Elfman did the March of the Dead theme, and Joe LaDuca did the rest of the music, because Joe LaDuca scored Evil Dead and Evil Dead 2. But Danny Elfman wrote that dun 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 dun. What fucking amazing. And the
Love
smoke comes up with Bruce Campbell versus Army of Darkness, and I get chills just thinking about it. I'm like, that's so great, man. God, how great is that?
It's so great. It really is. Like, seeing Bruce Campbell's name, like, it's just so, like, I forgot that it did that, honestly. And I was like, dude, that is so awesome.
Yeah, it's perfect. What do you think, Derek?
Oh no, I agree. The opening to this movie is pretty epic. And the score is awesome. You guys nailed it.
Yeah, the score is so good.
Although I do think it's hilarious that they've got his one arm without a hand.
Yeah, it's the best. It's the best. There's just little things like that are so good. His nub is in the.
Yeah, he can totally pull it out.
It's so funny. And then when he, I love that he falls from the sky, and old boy's immediate reaction is, yeah, he's likely one of Henry's men. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about? The wise man's like, I think he's the one that was prophesied to fall from the sky and deliver us from the Deadites. Probably with Henry, clearly with this fucking machine that we don't know what it is and all of his weird clothing.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck is this guy's problem? Which is Arthur, by the way. Arthur the King. And they were off and running, man, because this movie doesn't stop. That's the best part. It just flies like a bullet. And we get our first big set piece, which is the pit. And everything leading up to the pit is just pitch perfect hilarious. The geyser, the blood geyser that comes out. Phenomenal, right?
Yes. All practical.
I love the shot of Bruce's face, and you see it start to light, like the red lighting on it before the blood pops up. It's so cool. It's just so silly. And then I love they point the swords at him, and he's like, whoa, I never saw these assholes before. This scene also has one of my favorite lines in movies, general, which is, hello, Mr. Fancy Pants. For
Yes.
it doesn't look like you're in charge of 2 things, Jack and shit. Jack left town.
I laughed so hard when he said that.
It's so funny.
Well, hello,
Oh, I
Mr.
smiled
Fancy
for sure.
Pants. Me and Jake were cracking up. Like, just smiles like throughout the whole movie.
Dude,
really.
I'm just doing the same thing. I just smiled the entire time. I just was smiling. But when he says that, I love the way he says, well, hello, Mr. Fancy Pants. Like, oh, you got him. What do you guys think of the pit battle with the 2 pit demons.
It's so cool.
Great stuff, right?
The second one kind of got me. They came out of the
when he
wall.
pops out, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, I forgot about him.
I love how he jumps on his crotch and he turns on his Popeye voice. Why you? Flips him off. And then
I love like the humor throughout this
so
like
good.
insane like demon battle. It's like
dude, I love after the wise man throws him the chainsaw and he catches it, midair.
Yeah.
And cuts off the one's hand and it catches on the dude's mouth is really funny. He chops the one in half. And then the escape from the pit is just the best. Because instead of just grabbing the chain, he pulls off his belt and wraps it around it like a whip and rides it up. It's so funny. So absurd and big and silly, but suspenseful because we have those insert shots of him slipping off the belt. So it actually plays pretty well, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then when he gets out of the pit is one of my all-time favorite scenes in any movie. Because he gets out.
Good. It's so good.
He's just fed up and he's so pissed off.
He's
overall
pissed.
So he picks a fight. He bullies that one fucking poor bald bastard.
Dude, he just looks the entire crowd up and down and was like, "Who's next? Like, let's go!" And you're like, "Oh no!" And yeah, the guy.
Huh, you want some? Huh? You want a little? And the fact that he just talks him all the way down and pushes him, and he's like afraid, and then to save face, he pushes the guy next to him is so funny.
Yeah.
And
Jake
then Ash
pointed out that was the guy that was whipping him when he was chained up to everybody. So
that's why he grabs the whip from him. That's why he grabs the whip from him.
Yeah.
And so, man, the when he gives his speech, because he lets Henry go, and then he gives his speech because King Arthur wants to duel him. Sword boy, he says, and pulls the sword out, makes the dude fall, and then Ash shoots the sword with the boomstick. He's like, yeah. And then gives the greatest speech in cinema history. This is my boomstick. I love, listen up, you primitive screwheads. This is my boomstick. And then gives us all the specs on it. It retails for around $109.95. Shop smart. Shop S-Mart. You got that? It's so funny.
It's so great. It's so great. Why don't they make movies like this more?
I don't know. They should. They should just make 12,000 of just this movie. But
I would watch them. I would watch every single one.
The push in after he shoots the monster down the pit. So we get that great, he shoots it and shoots the chain off and shoots it down the pit. And then he freaking twirls the gun. We get a close up and he holsters it and says, "Now tell me how I get back home." It's so cool. It's just such a Sam Raimi shot. Another great Sam Raimi shot that we didn't talk about is when Arthur shoots the fleeing one of Henry's men that are fleeing, and he shoots the arrow. We get like the of the arrow, and then the arrow's point of view, all that Sam Raimi shit. Just love it.
So instead of it being an eyeball, this time it's an arrow.
It's an arrow, exactly. And then we get to see it from the arrow's point of view. It's just Sam Raimi's so dynamic with his fucking camera work. It's just amazing.
And later we see it with a fork.
Yep. Oh yeah, we do. So
when you say stuff like that, now I'm like, oh, that makes sense for like Hercules and
yeah.
I'm like, all of it. See it.
You can also see it in John Woo's Hard Target, because Sam Raimi was a producer on Hard Target. So there's some influence in there. You didn't know that?
No.
Yeah, Sam Raimi
the one with Van Damme?
Yeah, Sam Raimi was the producer on Hard Target. Basically, the studio wanted him to be, and he was on set. They wanted him on set every day, but he wasn't. Basically, the studio was waiting for John Woo to mess up because it was his first American film, waiting on him to mess up, and then so that way Sam Raimi was just going to slot in and take over. But Sam Raimi, being Sam Raimi, was like, "You got this." and just, let him do his thing and protected him because he's Sam Raimi. Of course. So love it. But you could see some Sam Raimi-ness in that movie. There's a shot of an arrow that's exactly this shot. And I was like, I bet you. He's like, why don't you shoot it like, I'm not trying to overstep, but what if you shoot it like this? Here it works. So this opening 15 minutes is just the best. It's just so strong. And the best part is the movie doesn't like fall off. It just continues. Because next we get one of our all-time favorite scenes where he's sitting, munching on grapes, having girls feeding grapes, eating a big fucking piece of meat. And Beth Davis's character, HiLa, comes over to apologize for throwing a rock at his head earlier. And he's like, first you want to kill me. Now you want to kiss me. You're just like, fucking Ash, you're so cheesy. And then we get this super fun knockout drag down fight with this like she-witch. What do you guys think of this piece?
Yeah, because they're in the like directly in that scene. I'm trying to picture what the
she's stirring like the cauldron, and then she pops up. Rah!
That's right. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
And then so she's knocking everybody around, and then she goes to throw the pot, and Ash shoots it out of her hand, and then we get like a little fight with him. She's like, "Yo, she bitch, let's go."
All those little lines are just so perfect.
Oh yeah, and then he does this great move after he shoots, because he shoots her over his shoulder, and then he goes like he studied in the Orient or something. So funny, so good. I love it so much. What do you guys think of this bit?
I feel like I missed half of it. I can't remember what was going on because I watched this early today. And I feel like, I don't know, my dogs were doing something, but I do like vaguely remember this kind of battle. Like this movie does not slow down. So if you look away, you're missing something.
You're missing stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I think this scene, something was going on. I can't remember what.
So check this out. This is funny. This is interesting. That scene was actually written to be this big action sequence. It's like it was supposed to be a little later in the movie, but it was supposed to be this big thing with these big stones, these pillars. And Ash was supposed to fight this witch, this big elaborate action sequence, but they ran out of money. They couldn't do it. So it had to be rewritten to this little more down to earth action sequence, which is fine because it still plays really well. It's still really funny. We still get to see Ash beat up kill a dead-eyed and show his badassness before he gets his new metal hand. And we get, of course, the second classic groovy of the series. So great when he, crushes the goblet. Groovy.
Yeah. And everybody's like, whoa.
Whoa, yeah. Then this scene with HiLa, you guys. Oh, it's so good. It's so good because she comes in trying to like make up to him, and he's just being a total fucking asshole to her. And he's like, put that down. Your primitive intellect couldn't understand atoms and molecules. And
yeah. He clearly doesn't know anything about.
Knows nothing what he's talking about. It's so funny. It's so funny. I laughed out loud watching that tonight. I was like, that's so good. And then when she says, thou got you, I made this for thou. And he's like, good, I could use a good horse blanket. You're like, wow. And then, of course, comes one of the most famous lines ever, where after she slaps him, he goes and grabs her, and they share a magical moment, and he says, give me some sugar, baby.
It's so cheesy. It's so
the backstory to this.
Cheesy.
The backstory to this is that wasn't written in the script, and on the day, Bruce Campbell said Sam Raimi's over there in the corner, like laughing to himself. And Bruce is like, what's going on? He goes, I'm going to make you say, give me some sugar, baby. She's like, no, Sam, don't make me say it. And then it became amazing. It's so good. Derek, what do you think of this bit?
I too was the way that he referred to her as like a primitive lady in his rambling about. Yeah, it was pretty funny. And he's got a couple of those moments in the movie with her specifically, like those cheesy, like when we'll get to it in a moment, but like whenever he's making that deal about leaving, and she was like, you know, the way he's talking to her, like, "Oh, come on, baby."
Yeah,
You know
the
what I'm
best, the best is when he later in the movie. We'll get to it eventually. We'll get to the scene, but I love when she's like, "What about all those wonderful words thou shared with
Oh,
me?"
that was pillow talk, baby.
That's just pillow talk, baby. I laugh out loud every time he says it. I'm like,
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like,
that's
we'll
just
get to
pillow
it, but
talk,
yeah.
baby. Dude, when when he goes on the quest, and the wise men's trying to teach him the words is so fucking funny. And when you're watching it, you don't realize. I mean, the first time you're watching, you're probably not realizing, oh, they're setting up that he's going to fail this. But it's so good because he's like, Klaatu Verata Nikto. Klaatu Verata Nikto. Again, Klaatu Verata Nikto. Once more, I got it. I know your damn words. He's just like, that's a dick to him.
And then he forgets it.
And he forgets it.
That's great.
The fucking windmill, like, I love the way it looks, him riding through the forest during the day, and we just see the trees, and then the calmness is broken by the evil force, and we get the the force shot, and we cracking trees in half and everything. We're back into the world of Evil Dead for a minute there.
Yeah.
And when it's smashing the door, that's a great bit. I love the way that's shot with the close cut ins and fast editing. So effective. It's good stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Raise your hand if you would live in that windmill.
Nice windmill. It was a nice windmill.
I would live in that windmill. That's what
Does
I'm
it have
saying.
Wi-Fi? Does it have Wi-Fi?
It doesn't have Wi-Fi.
Well,
You're
I don't
good.
know about it. But yeah, so what I was telling you guys earlier when I said, so I meant to talk about this when we were talking about the witch in the cellar, right? That whole bit with the witch attack earlier. Sarah was in, because I watched this in the bedroom. That way Connor didn't watch it and whatever. I mean, but the funny thing is he came in the bedroom and he watched it and he just was like watching, looking back at me and smiling and watching it. And I was like, he's fine by this. This apparently doesn't scare him. Sarah was in there and she's, yeah,
his genetics. He's genetically
yes,
ready for this kind of movie.
Sarah, on the other hand, was like, Connor, let's get out of here. Come on, let's go. Let's get out of here. I don't want you being scared. I was like, well, it seems to be okay. She's like, well, it creeps me out, so let's get out of here. I was like, you creeped out by Army of Darkness? What an idiot.
That's so funny. Why was it creeping her out?
It was just the witch. She doesn't like the possessed. She's afraid of possessed things. So the possessed witch, she's like, let's get out of here. I don't like it.
Yeah. I wish I was afraid of possessed things.
I wish I was afraid of anything.
Yeah, right.
I need the fear again. But guys, this windmill scene, Derek, is fucking phenomenal.
Oh man.
It's the best, right?
It's pretty iconic.
Yeah, the slapstick of it, all the little like nuances, like the little creatures, the little mini ashes running around, and like, he bumps the one into the fire. He forks the one. The one goes down his throat, and how about some hot chocolate?
Yeah, there's a scalding hot water down his own throat.
Dude, the amount of effects
that'll
in
teach
this,
him.
I love just studying. Like everything from here after is like effect heavy, and it's so good.
So what's great is I love the fact. So in the theatrical cut, which we mostly watched, in the theatrical cut, he sees something. It looks like another him, and he just runs and smashes into it. And you're like, why do you fucking smash that mirror like that? In the director's cut and in the television cut, he actually hears something outside. He goes out and investigates, right? in the TV cut. He goes out, investigates, runs into his horse. Oh, it's just you, buddy. As he's on his way back in, the door, he sees somebody standing in there, and the door slams. So he runs through and then that's when he runs into the mirror because he thinks that he thinks something's gonna attack him. Theatrical cut, he just kind of smashes into a mirror. It's still funny. It works, but that gives us all the millions of ashes, like you were talking about, Derek, the mini ashes. And there's such funny stuff here, like you were talking about the burning himself with the scalding water. I like when his face falls on the stove,
like gotta fry it up,
fries it off. So silly.
No, the number of times he hits his head on that freaking pipe.
Yeah.
Or
and then the London Bridge is falling down. Gets 80. So, obviously there's rear projection for him, with the little ashes, but all the other little ashes, basically they just have people made up like Bruce, and then the hero little ash is always Bruce. Yeah. So whenever one runs off, that's Bruce. And then like the giant fork, they actually filmed it in reverse. It actually pulls out of him. And Bruce Campbell in his book and in the audio commentary says that during that day, he was doing it and Sam said, "Oh, come on, that's some of the worst reverse acting I've ever seen in my life." Only something you'd hear in a Sam Raimi movie. But this is a very important plot point, really, because it leads to the creation of Evil Ash, which starts to grow out of his arm, which is actually pretty creepy. When you see the eyeball, that's pretty creepy, right?
Yeah.
And then immediately gets silly. So he starts to just grow in half, and his evil half just keeps. My favorite is when they're like on the way down the hill, and he just punches him in the face.
Yeah. Like the creepiness, like the concept of that is like kind of scary too. Like I can imagine seeing this at a young age and just being like, I mean, if you watched up to this point in the movie, you're probably already mind blown. But like, this, like him like splitting in half like that is just crazy.
And then Bruce's performance of Evil Ash is so funny too. So when he, I'm Bash, and you're good Ash. Goody little two shoes.
He starts dancing.
Yeah. And then, of course, the greatest good, bad. I'm the guy with the gun. So he blows his face off. So Bruce says when he's playing Bad Ash, he's just doing a Sam Raimi impression.
That's brilliant. It's brilliant.
So take that for what you will. But the sequence following where he chops him up is one of those Sam Raimi specials, those quick cuts, tight shots, fade to blacks. And we get the chainsaw. It's so funny after he throws him. He's like, "That'll teach you." Throws him in the hole. He's like, "You'll never make it to the book. You'll die before you get there." Hey, what's that in your face? He just smashes him in the face with some dirt. So funny. And then, guys, here it is. We're here. He's at what I love is we just basically follow Ash this whole time. We don't cut back to other people. We don't intercut stories. We're just on Ash, whatever Ash is doing. So we end up at the cemetery. And there's the 3 books. And this is Lydia, you're talking about effects. This is effects haven right here. What are you thinking?
With the books?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like, could you imagine someone like sitting down and being like, "This is what we're gonna put in this movie"?
Yeah. It was Sam and Raimi. That's who did it. Sam and Ivan Raimi.
That's insane. Even the concepts in this movie are just.
I mean, it's a great trope. It's you have 3 options. Pick one. It plays. I like when he goes in there and his face contorts because it sucked him in.
Dude,
yeah, it's so cool.
That is so disturbing. It's so disturbing.
Because it looks like Bruce, but not.
Yeah, like it's practical. So
yeah. He just does that shake, and then it just keeps fixing. And then when he goes, "Oh," wrong book.
And then he's like anxious about picking up another one.
Yeah, and then when he does, and it bites him and it flies and all that cool stuff.
Yeah, I love that too.
The best part is after he does, he goes, "Ooh, I'll come back to you." He just wants vengeance on this book that bit him and attacked. And then, of course, he has to say the words. And as a kid, the very first time I saw this, this was the scene that made me fall in love with this movie more than anything. This was it. It was the scene. It was when he forgot the words and he says, Klaatu, Barata. I fucking fell on the floor laughing. I was like, this is insane.
It's good stuff.
It's so funny. The fact that he's like, nitrous, necktie, nickel. Definitely an N-word. And then he turns to the camera. Definitely an N-word. So good. The way he looks around before he says it. Klaatu, Barata. And then the fact that he, after the shit hits the fan, he's bargaining with it. No, I said it. I said the words. No, it's cool. It's cool. I said it. It's so funny.
I feel like, do you guys ever have that when you're like trying to like write a word and then you kind of like lose the spelling as you're writing it and you just like scribble and you're like, there, it clearly says what I meant it to say.
Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah. Derek does that every time.
I didn't want to call him out. I didn't want to say, Derek, I know you understand.
You feel me, Derek.
I know. If you rewind the tape whenever you said that, I'm kind of like,
you're like, I don't know what that means. I don't know.
That's how I live my life, man.
Never had that.
Derek, you want to give a free plug to your lifesaver?
Yeah, Grammarly. That has saved my professional career. Mainly because I sent an email one time and it was when I first started in my professional job and I had to CC my manager and he was like, hey, you've got to double check your email. He's like, you misspelled a whole bunch of words. I was like, okay, I gotcha.
Why did you add 2 T's in the? I don't get it.
I mean, I'm not that bad.
The big one. I was quoting Dumb and Dumber the other day. I said something. It was at work yesterday. We have an intern, and she's working with us. And she said something about somebody paying attention about something, and I said, she was talking about something. I said, "What? Sorry, I wasn't listening." And she started laughing, and I said, "Yeah, she got mad that so she gave me some bull crap about me not paying attention to her. I don't know, I wasn't listening. But you know what the worst part is? I think she was seeing another man." What's the matter, Harry? Some little filly break your heart? No, it was a woman.
And your intern was like, okay, I quit.
Yeah, no, she laughed. She was like, stop it. Just stop it. I was like, sorry, I can't help it. You set me up for it. I have to go for it, Like I'm a strong-willed man, but not that strong-willed. You give me a joke opening, I might have to do it. I'm gonna do it. There it is. What do you want from me? I'm only human. So all the shit hits the fan. Tombstones start popping out everywhere, which looks fucking amazing, by the way. Tombstones popping out of the ground, skeletons reaching out and grabbing him. We get a Three Stooges bit where he's held down by skeletons and beat up.
Dude, I was laughing so hard during that. I was like, at this point, Jake had like left and I was just watching it by myself and I was just dying. Like I was cracking up so hard during the skeleton scene. Like it's so funny. He does this.
Yeah, and they poke him in it. Stop. It's so good. And when the one puts his hand in his mouth, if you watch, when the one has his hand in his mouth, another one punches him right in the dick. He literally just punches him right in the crotch. I laugh every time I see it. Because that's Sam like
Yeah, and they were like really hitting him with those hands too.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Keep your damn filthy bones out of my mouth. But so he says one of my favorite lines here too is he's like, I'm through being their garbage boy. I got the book, now I want back, like in the deal. And
I
when
love
he
how
arrives,
that guy calls him out. He's like, "Did you say the words?" He was like, "I said the words. Maybe not every syllable, but I said the words."
yeah, well, maybe not every single tiny syllable, but the best part is as he's walking through, there's just this one guy. It's like trying to greet him, and he goes, "Get the fuck out of my face!"
Yeah, yeah.
Makes me laugh so hard. This is
I
when we
was
get
like,
the
oh.
classic, pillow talk line too. Because I love Arthur's like, we'll send him back because we're men of our words, you know. And he's like, yeah. Ash is really shocked. Yeah, like, yeah, because that was the deal. So funny. And then of course that Deadite, which looks amazing, the winged Deadite, comes and picks up HiLa, and leaves Ash behind, so he has to get his courage. But in the meantime, we get the camp of the evil Ash, who is resurrected, and we get this amazing scene of them just undigging skeletons, and we see all these just skeletons walking around, and we get stop motion skeletons mixed with like practical skeletons. It's just fucking amazing. I love it so much.
Yeah,
And it's so silly, so cool.
There's something really special about the amount of work it takes to make that kind of scene of all the skeletons that are, animated all completely differently too. Like,
yeah, but I love when the one raises up in the coffin and starts coughing and just dust flies everywhere. He's like, welcome back. Now get to work. And then for no reason at all, there's this topless woman being dragged by a skeleton.
Yeah. With some strategically placed hair.
Yeah, it's so funny. And then of course he give me some sugar, baby, to HiLa and turns her. And we get her reveal that she's bad, I may be bad, but I feel good, she says. Then we get the best. We get Ash gives his whole hero speech. He's through running. He's done with all this crap. So who's with him? Well, he goes, what are more people from the future like you? Foul mouth braggart. Just me, baby. Just me.
Yeah. I love that.
So good. My favorite is Ted Raimi plays like 3 different parts in this movie.
Yeah.
And my favorite is this guy that he is. You can count on my steel, he says. So good. So we get this great training montage where Ash luckily has some chemistry books in his trunk that he obviously just stole from the library or something. Just chilling in there with a Fangoria magazine as well, if you guys didn't see it. And starts learning how to make gunpowder and such. So we get that. We get those. It's funny when the old wise man's like has it like right by a candle.
Oh yeah, like what is in this little baggie? Don't do that. You're gonna blow us up.
Yeah, he just pulls it out, and then he moves the candle completely. Then the funniest is Ash's move that he teaches them to fight is so fucking pointless. Ha! Woo! Ha! Ha! Yeah! You're like, what is this move?
It works like one time.
It does work the one time that they use it. It sure does. But it's because they're just stunned too. Like, what are they doing? So this freaking final battle is excellent, right? It's just so bonkers fun. What do you guys think of this bit with the flaming arrows and exploding arrows and blowing up skeletons?
Oh yeah.
Oh man, the ones where like the 2 skeletons are running and the one's like retreat. I forget what the other one says, but it's
get the hell out of here.
Get the hell out of here. Yeah, it's just mayhem, but it's so great. And then, I actually did not piece it together until I rewatched it this time. But you hear this fucking everywhere on any type of video where there's like somebody getting hurt, where Ash goes, "Oh, that's gotta hurt."
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many times I've heard that soundbite and not put it together that it was this movie.
Oh yeah, yeah, yep. I love the the arrows drawn back and he's just toning to wait and they're just getting nervous because it just keeps going. And Ash is like a strategic military genius all of a sudden, cracks me up. But it's so good. And
I like the drummer skeletons and the flute player that's just playing a bone. They're just drumming on bones, like on skulls.
Yeah, it's so good. It's so good.
There's
a bunch
a lot
of
time
fun
on those guys.
Yes, there's a lot of fun little action here. I like Evil Ash, like watching it from afar, watching his troops get blown up. Sally Far! Sally Far! Sally Forth. The great bit.
Yeah,
falling off.
I love all his reactions to he's clearly losing.
I love when he says, "Who rules?" That just makes me laugh. He just wants his people to tell him that he's awesome. Who rules? But when they finally break through and we get mayhem, and one of the extras in there, the old man that gets stabbed, is actually Bruce Campbell's dad, Don.
What?
He's in the movie.
Nice.
But guys, we get the Death Coaster appears in this one, which is the classic with blades on it. What do you guys think of the Death Coaster? It's fucking awesome, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
It's insane. It's just insanity.
This whole scene, I love it. Like we get him breaking practical skeletons, hitting these. We get these wire gags by these stuntmen that just get pulled by the propellers. Supposedly, they get flown off by the propellers. It's just all this great, fantastic stunt work, and it's fun because we get to see Ash just destroying a bunch of stuff, and then HiLa appears, so he crashes it, and we get another excellent explosion. That explosion looks fantastic, by the way. And then we get the attack. She falls into the pit. Then we get all of Ash's fun stuff. Like when he has to make it up to the tower because Evil Ash is there, about to grab the Necronomicon. And Ash uses he cuts the rope of the rocks to pull himself up, and he crushes the one skeleton. The skeleton's crawling on the ground. Is like, "I'll cut out, you gizzard." It's so funny.
He's like, "I'll stab you. Where'd you go?"
Yes.
That made me laugh so hard.
He gets crushed. It's so funny. And then I love I think the fight between Ash and Evil Ash is really good. All of it. I especially love when he has both swords and he's fighting both of them going up and down the stairs. Some Errol Flynn shit right there.
Yeah.
A lot of fun.
Cool. I like that shot a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot of little fun stuff here. So he ends up, stabbing Evil Ash a couple of times, but he's too strong. He keeps fighting back. He says, "Backstabber!" Throws it at him. It's really funny. So he catches his whole body on fire, and he jumps off the side. We think because first he gets attacked by HiLa, and he impales her and throws her over. There's that great line where, "You found me beautiful once, honey. You got real ugly."
I love that.
Yeah. And then there's their fight. So he catches Evil Ash on fire. And then he comes back up as a skeleton with Sam Raimi's voice all of a sudden. He says, "I've got a bone to pick with you." This bit's great. I love when he hits him and his head goes, "Wow, wow, 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 wow." And he stops it and his eyes keep rolling. That's so funny. And the fact that Ash is going with him. So what do you guys think of the finale? How he dispatches of him? How he dispatches of Evil Ash? Because he knocks the torch down.
Yeah.
It lights
he takes a tumble.
Yes, Ash
He takes
takes
a
a tumble.
tumble down there off the side of the castle or whatever, and sees that the fuse has been lit to this box of explosive on the
Yes, the
catapult.
catapult. Yep. Yeah,
So
and so
perfect. That's
he
perfect.
drops down and he's like, "Now I have that Necronomicon. No one can stop me." And he cuts off his hand and says, "Buckle up, bonehead. You're going for a ride." And then the fact that his head goes,
Yeah, they're like
he
a
blasts
train,
off is so funny.
like a train whistle.
Derek, we also need to mention that King Henry's men, Henry the Red's men, come and join them as well to
Yes.
join the fight to help fight him off. Derek, what do you think of this finale?
I mean, it's just it's epic. Let's say you kind of hit all my favorite bits about it. Let's see, I'm trying to think of something I can add, other than it's just amazing.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it's great. The ending, I love the way he dispatches Evil Ash. I think it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Love him getting blown up. And then I love we get like the standoff between, because HiLa lives. We find out HiLa's alive now. And then we get the standoff between Henry the Red and King Arthur's men. And they both approach and hug. And it's like, this cathartic moment where everybody comes together. It's like this big triumphant ending. It's a lot of fun. And then, he goes and gets HiLa. This is where the director's cut completely diverges if you're watching the director's cut. So we'll talk about, the actual ending. Then we'll talk about the director's cut. But from here, we get, Ash's voiceover kicks in again and tells him, that he was told to, say the magic words, and end up in the, he go back to his own time. And we realize that this whole entire story he's been telling us, he's been telling to an S-Mart employee. So he's just been recounting this to an S-Mart employee who says, Ted Raimi in his third role, saying, "Did you get the words right this time?" Well, maybe I didn't say every last little syllable. No, but I basically got him. Basically. Then we get what I think is the best ending, the perfect ending to this movie. So there's stuff to like about the director's cut ending because of what it represents and what it presents for us, the future, what could have been. But the S-Mart ending is the perfect ending because we have Ash back at S-Mart. There's another like hottie that's all about him, thinks that his story is cute. And then the Deadeye attacks again. And this is where we get all of the best Ash stuff, all the best one-liners, all basically come from here. Because, we have the classic, after she attacks him and throws him into the gun rack, he's just pissed again. He's what?
I said that was mistake number one on her.
Yeah, exactly. And he's just had enough. He's had so much. He's fed up again, gets up and smashes it, and then we get, sorry, lady, I'm going to have to ask you to leave the store. And we cut to this hero shot of Ash standing there, and she says, "Who are you?" And what does he say? He says, "The name's Ash. Housewares." Name's Ash. Housewares. He starts just firing this rifle at her. Hits her finally. And then she says, "I'll swallow your soul." And he says, the other classic, "Come get some."
Yeah.
And then kills her and then says, his voiceover kicks over again. And we get the, "I could have stayed. I probably could have even been king. But I guess I'm king in my own right." And he dips the woman and says, the best line, Lydia, what is it?
Oh, shoot. I just had it. Well, as soon as you asked me, I was like...
He says, "Hail to the king, baby."
Yes, obviously. Obviously.
He kisses her. Hail to the king, baby.
So good.
The best.
I was like
the best.
building that line up so much in my head, and then like as soon as you asked me, it was like I was like, "Oh no, what are words?"
So, if you guys remember Duke Nukem from back in the day, you remember Duke Nukem, Darren?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
All of Duke Nukem's lines are stolen from other people, mainly Ash, but he steals from Roddy Piper. He steals the, I came here to chew bubblegum and kick ass, Mamala bubblegum. But he steals mostly Ash lines. Come get some. Hail to the king, baby. He says another one too, but those classic Duke Nukem lines are, come get some. It's just, they're all Ash lines. He's just ripping off Ash. And when I was a kid, I didn't know that. I was like, Duke Nukem's so cool. He says this cool stuff. And I watched it. I was like, now I know why he says it. He gets it from the man himself. Let's talk about.
I'll be honest with you. I've always wondered who did it first.
Well, this,
now I know.
Yeah, I mean, this was 1992, and Duke Nukem was 1997. So yeah, well after. So let's talk about the director's cut ending, because this famously has a completely different alternate ending. So up until where the flashing blue light starts, it's the same. The story is basically the same. Then, so in the theatrical cut, the flashing blue light cuts us to the blue light special at S-Mart. In the director's cut, the wise man tells him he needs to count the drops to get to the right century. So he needs to take as many drops of the potion as he can. So they push the Delta into a cave. He goes into this cave. They kind of block him in. And he takes the drops. Some rock falls. He loses count and takes one drop too many. So he wakes up in the post-apocalypse. He wakes up. It's the future. The world's kind of destroyed. And he says, I slept too long. He's got a big beard. I slept too long. And then we end. Now, this ending, the studio didn't like it because it was a downer. It was a downer ending. And it also kind of sets up for a sequel that we didn't know if we were going to get, right? Which is the promise of Ash in this post-apocalypse fighting to go back in time, to get back home. And so if it was just the last one, it would end everything on a kind of a downer cliffhanger. So the studio ordered reshoots. Let's have a happy ending. Let's test both. So in Europe, they got the director's cut endings. Certain territories did, but we got the S-Mart ending. Now, to do Sam Raimi's original vision, I think, that's the right ending. That's what he wrote. But as objectively, I think the S-Mart ending is superior. I think it's way more fun. It fits. I think it fits the tone of this movie better. Because I think the director's cut ending might be a little too dark. Derek, what do you think?
So I actually watched the director's cut for this watch, although I've seen the other one like many times. Man, which one? Which one? I don't know. I think the S-Mart one is the correct one.
Yeah.
I think that if you had it lined up and you knew you were going to get a sequel, actually both would have played very well with a sequel.
Well,
I don't know.
It does. The S-Mart ending does, because it dovetails directly into Ash vs. Evil Dead.
Well, yeah.
Essentially.
I mean, but that happened like 20 years later-ish.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, so I like the promise of what could have been, but that would have had to be an expensive movie, and to be in the post-apocalypse. And I love that Ash's buffoonery maroons him in time, because that's who he is. But I also just love the fun of the S-Mart ending. I think it fits the tone of this movie better.
It's pretty rock and roll.
Yeah, it's very rock and roll.
If you're the guy he's telling the story to, in the, him like recapping his, you're probably like, oh man, you're so full of shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then he gets to witness the king.
Yeah, in action, exactly. Yeah.
He takes off his like stupid uniform and
and he's wearing
still wearing all this stuff.
Yeah, he's wearing a cool shirt underneath his like cool night shirt, and then he has like the holster on his hip. He twirls it and puts it in. Fucking coolest. And then the last line. See, we would have been deprived of names Ash House wears, and we would have been deprived of Hail to the King, baby, which is just the all-time perfect ending quote. Like, I don't think there's a better last line to a movie than "Hail to the King, baby." It's just perfect. It's perfect. So that is Army of Darkness. What are we thinking, guys?
I'll go first.
Okay.
This movie. So I'm thinking of when is the appropriate time to let Clark watch this movie. And I think when he's like around 13, 14 years old, probably the right
I'd say
time.
8, 9.
I'll let him get a little older than that. But man, I can't wait for him to it. Like, you know, there's a handful of movies that you can't wait for your kid to watch. Right? Goonies. Can't wait for him to watch Goonies. He's got a couple more years and he can watch Goonies. This is one of those movies, and it's because of the silliness of it. It obviously has the horror element, but like this movie works as well as a comedy as it does a horror movie.
Oh yeah.
I think it's very brilliant. I looked up the numbers, and I got to say this movie probably was just a little bit ahead of its time.
It was. Yeah, 100%.
If this movie comes out 3 or 4 years later, I think it fucking dominate. I mean, I think it would really have
a big hit.
like,
Yeah.
yeah. It's a tragedy that it wasn't a bigger hit at the time because it's such a good movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man, I don't even know what I gave the last one. Tens are. I want to give it a 10.
Give it a 10. Give it. Yeah. Give it what your heart
I'm gonna
says.
give it a 10. It's just such a great experience. I'm gonna give it a 10.
What do you think, Lydia?
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 10 too. I think I mean, if our podcast is the only one out there that gives this movie 10s, that I'm fine with that. You know, like I don't know, I think this movie is so good. And watching it, I was like just thinking like this is not a perfect movie.
No.
And that's like just makes it so much more special. Like it's such a genuine like piece of art that was just slapped out there, put into this world for us to enjoy. And like I don't know how many people have not even seen this movie. Like I could probably ask anyone that I know, have you seen this movie? And they'd probably be like, no, I've never even heard of it. Like and I'm just like, well, I 1000% recommend to each of those people to go watch this movie because it really is so much fun. It's everything I love in a movie. It's action, it's horror, it's adventure, it's comedy. It's the perfect combination. And knowing the story of these people, these creators, these actors who put all this work into it, it's just one of the most special things. And I want more of it. I always just want more of this.
Yeah, I'm 100% in agreement with you with what both of you said, and I'm also going to give it a 10. Spoiler alert, that was shocking, right? But here's what's great is I
Jamie's like, I'll give it a 9.
Yeah, I want to break the streak. No, a 5. It's a 5. It's like I feel like a 6.5, like Dawn of the Dead style score for this one.
Yeah.
No, it's a 10 for sure. But the thing, what I agree with what you said. It's not a perfect movie. There's tons of continuity issues. There's some kind of logical fallacies. But here's the thing about it, guys. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because you're having such a blast just watching Bruce Campbell be Ash and watch him go on this adventure. And you're into the story, even though it's nonsensical. You're into it. And you're along for this ride and you're entertained in every scene. There's not one scene in this movie where you're like, I got to skip this scene to get to the next one because the next one's always great. And there's always something happening in each scene. Every scene is either an action scene, a comedy bit, or, a jump scare. So there's like always something happening. And like you said, Lydia, it's very singular to the voice of Sam Raimi. It's art. It's just this pop art that's popped out there. It is 100% a perfect crowd pleaser. if you don't like this movie, then you just don't like movies, I feel like. Now, you don't have to feel like it's a 10 like we do. You could say, oh, it's a pretty fun movie. It's an okay movie. It's fine. But like to say, like anybody to say this is not a fun watch just doesn't watch movies or doesn't like them, because this movie is just slam bang fantastic. It's a 10. It is my neck and neck with Evil Dead 2. I think Evil Dead 2 is my favorite because it's just everything like distilled, everything of me distilled into a film is Evil Dead 2. The horror elements, the darkness and the light, everything about it is just crystallized and perfect. But this is a close second, because every time I watch it, I get transported back to my being 13 years old in my room watching this movie. And it just takes me all the way back to, long summer nights of just listening to the DVD commentary of these things. And just like, I actually can picture watching this movie in my mom's bedroom, because that's where one of our DVD players were when we were a kid. And me watching this DVD in my mom's bedroom while she's downstairs watching the big TV, and just kind of laying on the floor, just taking it in and just loving it. So yeah, the Evil Dead franchise, we'll get to the remake and Evil Dead Rise eventually too. And we'll also, of course, eventually in this podcast, do a deep dive into all 3 seasons of Ash vs. Evil Dead. But this wraps up the original Sam Raimi trilogy, and they are a special set of films. And for my money, they're as important as John Carpenter's Halloween to me. Like, as far as the fundamentals of who I am as a creator and a creative voice, I mean, these movies are a paramount building block. And so hats off to Sam and Bruce and Rob for giving us this incredible set of films. It got a little soapboxy and emotional there at the end, but hey, what can I say?
Standing ovation.
Yeah, just what can I say? Amazing. And if you haven't, pick up the Shout Factory 4K of Army of Darkness, because I watched it. This is what I watched tonight, and it looks stunning. It's so beautiful. It's so crystal clear. Has the film artifacts, the grain in it that you need, but like you could just see all the blood and dirt mostly dirt in this one, but all the dirt and grime on Ash's face. It's wonderful. So pick it up. It's a great Blu-ray or great 4K set, and the steelbook is beautiful. Look at that artwork. It's gorgeous. They're not sponsoring us, but Shout Factory, if you hear this, send me your next John Carpenter title. So, guys, this is a hard thing, but it's time to Atkinize.
Oh, gosh.
Army of Darkness. Who is the great Tom Atkins playing in this?
Arthur.
Yeah, sure. That works. Arthur. There you go. That was easy. Actually, way easier than I thought. All right. Derek, you said you had a story for us.
Yeah. I'm going to invoke a little bit of Lydia's fear. So,
Fear? Scream?
No.
My fear of swimming in the water.
Derek, before you do that, we got to get your pick for next week.
All right, guys. We are watching Amityville 3D.
Nice. Can't wait.
Oh, that is a bad one. Okay. I mean, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see if it's good, guys.
Yeah.
This guy actually got people in it that I knew that Lori Loughlin was in this, but I forgot that Meg Ryan is in this movie.
Yep.
What?
It is streaming currently on Pluto TV, Amazon Prime, Fandango at Home, and YouTube TV. Cool. So next week we are watching Amityville 3D.
Yay.
Guys, you're in for a treat. You're in for a shock if you've never seen this.
I'm excited.
It's way different than you think it's going to be. All right, Derek, you said you had a story for us.
Yeah, I'll make it quick. So, one summer, my cousin and I, we got taken out by his uncle. I forget. Anyway, so we went out to the reservoir. We went swimming. And Lydia, something you said reminded me of this. If you can't touch your feet. So we had this brilliant idea, which, by the way, if you are a young kid, don't do this because it's so dangerous. And if my kid did it, I would probably beat him half to death. But we were like, let's go get a giant log. And we brought a log out of the woods. And then we put these big ass rocks on the log so it would float. And we paddled out and we pulled the logs off and would hold on to it and sank to the bottom. And man, the mud, like your feet would go in the mud like this far. And we'd stay down there as long as we could and try to come back. It was so cold too. The water was so cold, like down there. But to your point, like I couldn't see anything. Like I had kept my eyes closed. I'm just down there in the, like we're like so far offshore because we put the rock on the log so that we didn't have to carry it, obviously, and we paddled out. And so dangerous reflecting on that. We could have died.
Yeah, you could have got stuck in the mud.
Yeah, or I mean, just stuck on anything. Like it was so dangerous. I can't believe that we did that, but we did. We're dumb. We lived.
Wow. Yeah, that is truly scary. I do not like that at all.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't do anything that Derek does, except for watch this podcast and make movies, because that's what we do. So that's our show for this week. Next time you see us, we should be close to filming. We'll see. Depends. But we should be about to gear up for the shoot. Next time you see this. Actually, by the time you watch this, we should be shooting, maybe. We'll see. But guys, thank you for joining us once again. Army of Darkness, check it out if you've never seen it. It's a blast and a half. And then next week, we're going to bring the show down quite a few notches. Amityville 3D, streaming on Pluto TV. So check that out. So until then, for Derek Master and Lydia Judy, I'm Jamie Hiles. Remember, hail to the king, baby. This is Green Bloody Movies.